Hi guys, this is Russ Algar, and what you're viewing is a game of Dungeons and Dragons Online. This has been a really long-standing multiplayer game um, based on the Dungeons and Dragons world of Eberron, in which you take place of your adventures on the very northern tip of the continent of Zendrick, in the home of the Coin Lords. This is the Marketplace district in our fair city. And what we're going to do for the assault on the slave lords, which was a classic adventure back in classic Dungeons and Dragons days. It was a tournament adventure of three or four actual modules that at Gen Con they had tournaments of D&D where people actually sat around a table with pen and paper and rolled dice. Over the years, there have been a couple of reprises of that, and this is one of the most recent. The Slave Lord series was probably one of my most favorite group of modules, not alone to play, but just to read. There was always fun, the kind of interesting traps and things that they would come up with. So right now I'm going here through the market district, and I'm heading on my way to the Hall of Heroes that is going to contain our quest. And our Hall of Heroes is right here. This is on Silversmith Road here. Here's our actual map if I kind of zone out. This is the city of Stormreach. And you kind of get an idea here of the area if you're not familiar with this particular game. It is free to play. It is a rather long download, but there are a number of updates, and over the past year or so, they have made a number of improvements to the game. If you like World of Warcraft, if you like other kind of MMOs, but you don't like a subscription, I highly recommend Dungeons and Dragons Online. Now, a little bit about the character that I'm playing here. I'm playing a 12th level ranger. He is very much skilled in archery, as you would expect. I have a number of feats that are catered towards that, namely precise shot, an archer's focus, precision, rapid shot, and so on. But I'm also kind of melee focused as well. Now, one of the things I recommend with the Slave Lord series here of modules that you actually have to purchase in game, and the way you do that is you'll go to the Dungeons and Dragons online store, which can only be accessed in game. And if you go into account, and let me back out. That's not correct. Or was it? Yeah, adventure packs. Here we go. Under account, if you go under adventure packs, and you look at different quest passes, what have you, legendary mid-level. Now, the Slave Lord series is a mid-level dungeon, and of course you do have to. It is a free-to-play game, but are going to have to spend a little bit of money on coins to get turbine points in order to actually purchase uh, the Slave Lords here. I don't see it listed because I've already purchased it, but here's another one that's been very popular, Temple of Elemental Evil. This kind of follows up on the Temple of Elemental Evil in some ways, which is very similar to the way it ran in the Dungeons and Dragons world with the paper and pen modules. After the events of the Temple of Elemental Evil is when the events of the Slave Lords take place in the Greyhawk campaign setting that was created by the late Gary Gygax. But anyway, with that said, I recommend you do a couple things, though, that you want to bear in mind, because this series of modules is very trap heavy. You want to bring the following things, namely a cleric, a rogue, who's going to be very, very important, and a sorcerer. This balances out your party. Of course, it's more fun when you actually have other players with you, but I have the benefit of being in a guild right now where all my members are offline. You can see my guild message of the day there. That's right. Let's take a look at it and see who's actually on right now. No, that's me. That's it. Nobody's been on in a little over a week. So, yeah. So I get the benefit of playing this by myself. And you get the benefit of joining me and watching what I do and maybe learning from it. Maybe it'll help your game a little bit. But you come down to the second level, and you're going to go over here into the part where it contains our quest. And yes, the typical of an MMO, they love to make you travel to get to things. And you see here I've got some buffs. I actually spent some time on my guild ship earlier, got some buffs for this adventure. I've turned the music off, but there is music in this, so let's go ahead. Here's the guy we actually get the crest from. Now you could do an epic level quest that I think is level 32, but since we're heroic levels here, we'll start with him. Okay, friend, we'll help you the gatekeeper set things right. Of course, now this alludes to things that were going on back in the Temple of Elemental Evil with this evil codex and the mysterious remnants. We'll save that for another time. Main thing we're going to do is address the quest. Which first we have to talk to a lady by the name of Dame Gold, the whole point of this quest is to beat up the slave lords so we can get, of course, the codex pages. You enter through this portal right here, and against the slave lords, part 1. Now, on a normal quest, it's our first time on this. Here, we're just doing this in normal level. You're going to find that you can start this quest at level 7, and I still recommend a full party. But at level 12, you definitely want to have a full party. One of my characters, I tried this with just a cleric, and by the time it was done, I had died 8 times. 3 or 4 of those were resurrections from the cleric. The rest we had to backtrack our way to find a shrine or burn a spirit cake in which I could, come back to life. So if you want to play on the cheap, I recommend you get a cleric that can do resurrection, and that you can go ahead and...
As you enter the room, a woman wearing a noble's finery gestures for you to approach.
Okay, so tell me about the slave lords. I'm going to have to destroy them. I'll take care of them.
Dame Gold points to the door at the rear of the chamber. The path beyond the service entrance will lead you to the abandoned temple. The slavers have set up an outpost there. Somewhere inside, I'd expect you'll find the information you need to track the slave lords back to their lair. Dame Gold's eyes narrow, and you hear the sound of steel in her voice. When you find them, I expect you to destroy them. All of them.
Well, that's disconcerting. Okay, so what I did there while the dungeon master was fulfilling the role here of Dame Gold, I went ahead and I summoned my hireling, my cleric. Now he has commands of heal, cure moderate wounds and mass, blade barrier, and raise dead. You want a cleric that's going to be able to raise dead. Trust me on this. And then now this particular hireling, these are the ones you can get out as a hard to play. You don't have to purchase money for them. But the one thing about these particular levels of hirelings is that you have to summon them at the start of the quest, at the start of the entrance of the dungeon when you're inside it. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to. Gold seal hirelings, however, which are known for their gold seal, and these are the hirelings you actually purchase in the DDO store, you can summon at any time, but I'm going to go ahead and summon them right now because we're going to make use of them right away. Okay, so everybody's here, and we're going to go ahead and go through the door. You could talk to Hamish Drone if you want to. I found that's kind of a bit of a waste of time at this point in time. Now, there was another guy standing over to the right. What he does is he'll actually build up quest items that you find, and you can have some decent treasure. Anyways, okay, so we're going to come up here.
The path leads to an ancient wall. The symbol of the slave lords hangs above the crumbling gateway.
Okay, now what I recommend is when you start this quest, that you have at least 2 hours that you can actually go get through this, because it is actually going to take you that long to do. So I'm not going to have you sit through, of course, a 2-hour video, but you're going to watch this in segments, and you can see how this progresses. So this first dungeon will take you from start to finish approximately 2 hours. You may want to plan accordingly, but it is a very, very fun dungeon, and if you've ever had anything to do with the Slave Lord series and any of the products over the years from
A poorly disguised secret door can be seen at the rear of this alcove.
Then you're going to enjoy this. Okay, we're about ready to enter into our first fight. I'm going to go into... grab some melee weapons here. Here we go. Surprise! Oh, good hit. Now, if you notice that right there, spot danger, you've immediately got some traps in the way here. So we're going to bring up the rogue. He senses them. We're going to have him search as soon as that's done. Okay, there's something there. So we're going to bring him all the way over here. Let him search. Okay, he still hasn't found the mechanism yet, so I'm going to come forward a little bit. I'm going to have everybody pause but him. Bring him forward and have him search again. Okay, come over here, bring him forward. Highlight the control panel. And this right here orders him to take it. Alright, we've just defeated our first trap. Now, let's go see what's on the other side of this hall. Oh, something spotted. Can I detect it? Look at that. Rogue to the front. Yep, another trap. I'm going to switch weapons here. Actually get a shield. Now, if you see that little thing above me, what happens, I got a spellcast map and cursed with a -4 penalty to attack. Now, I do have a means of countering that, but I can't seem to find it at the moment. Oh, that's remove disease, that's remove poison. I'm not worried about that. It's on a timer. I'll just wait it out here. In the meantime, we'll kind of see what's around this corner.
Most of this room is covered in dust and decay, but you can tell that a wall of fresh stones was recently added to one side.
We've got zombies. And there's another one over here. Okay, that went pretty smooth. Now, when I first started playing this and I came down this hall and to the right, what I was looking to see if this was anything like the original opening sequence in Against the Slave Lords, and this was very, very similar. If you went into the temple in the dungeon of the Slave Lords, I think that was the first module. I might be wrong on that, and you went down a hallway and you made this left, or you made that right. You had a very similar type of situation where you encountered zombies in an open area ruin like this. So I got started to get very, very excited that they stayed true to the actual modules published, gosh, over 30 years ago. More like 40 years ago now. But at this point, here is where it departs. Because at the end of the hall here would be the actual dungeon you would go into and fight a big battle and hopefully find this. In their wisdom here, the guys who've created this online game have decided that it was too slow for their pace for online games, and they've lengthened things out considerably. But you're still going to have a lot of fun with this. So I'm going to sneak down the hall here. Uh-oh. Okay, come on, wizard. Where you at? There, attack. Oh, I've been knocked out. Oh, now I'm back. Oh. Okay, now there are traps here, so I want to be careful. Luckily, we didn't trigger them. I have my rogue search for them. Yep, they are. Okay, we're going to have most everybody stay put. Rogue to me. Have him search. Okay, the panel's over here.
The door here appears to have been destroyed, then hastily repaired.
Okay, highlight the panel, have him. And the trap's cleared. So the useful thing for the rogue is you're going to find this at just about every turn. Look through the door here. And we've got some more zombies. Or ghouls, or whatever they are. Now, the thing about having a full party is, God, you make short works of these guys. If it's just two of you, you know, a cleric and a hireling, or you and another companion, you're going to have a much tougher time. So I highly recommend spend the money, get yourself some party members or some hirelings, or get in a group with your guild if you're in one, or some other players who play this. Yep, here we go. Clutch. That was just clutch. Alright, yep, here we go again. More traps. Rogue to the rescue. Okay, me and the rogue to go. Highlight the trap case. Rogue takes it. Now, if you're wondering why I'm doing so well, bear in mind I've had 3 other characters roll through this dungeon, so I kind of know what to expect, which kind of helps me find out. Now, here we have a series of crates, and it's around this time, somewhere around here, we're going to find our first slave and we're going to rescue. And one of the spots is like right in here. Now, the slaves tend to populate in the dungeon a bit randomly, so make sure you have every area over good eyeing over, because you do get bonus experience points for the number of slaves that you find. Okay, well, the slave wasn't here, so that's disappointing, which means I'll probably find more elsewhere. Okay, go up. Now, this right here is really full of you. They made this dark deliberately so that you wouldn't see where it is that you're going. Now, down below is a room filled with murky water. If you try to go this way, and you go straight towards that passage, there's actually a cutoff, and if you mistime it, you can drop down below. If you go this way, you have a long jump to make over to that corridor. However, cleverly placed in the middle here, where you can't see it very much, are beams that you can walk across. Now, if you see a turn, you can see the camera angle a little better now, but before you really couldn't see it. So that took me a couple of dungeons to figure out. Alright, we've found another trap, or detect another trap. Rogue's taking a look. It's somewhere around the corner. Okay, let's stop everybody there, bring him to me. And we'll go ahead and have him search again. Okay, so they're over here. Now, these floor traps are a pain in the butt. Here we got 3 of them. So you just highlight the trap, left click, right click on your character for that. He takes care of 1. 2. Now, if you have a rogue character, you can potentially get parts for trap making. If you have sufficient levels in that, a bit of a little crafting thing for, Okay, let's try to do a wall of fire. Come forward. There we go. God, I like wall of fire. It's so useful. Alright, here's our first slave. 1 down, and we've got... Actually, the more slaves you can find here, you get experience for having, or for every 10, up to 40. But I have managed to find as many as 41, so If you miss at least one, there's still hope you'll get full XP for them. So, alright, next room we're actually going to go down. And we're looking away into the lower catacombs now as we go, so...
This room stinks of vinegar, fire, and rot. The odor pours from a large mound of smoldering compost in the center of the floor.
All the rats dead? Yeah. Now, this right here actually takes place in the original series of dungeons. You come across a room like this with a bunch of compost in it and a bunch of rats. So that's actually kind of a nod to the classic adventure. And let's see, nothing over here. You might find a... Yeah, here we go. Here's a slave. You might find a slave or two or not. Like I said, most of the slaves in the dungeon are placed pretty randomly. Now, here we go. This is going to be important. We're going to go ahead and pull this lever. This crystal comes on, and you're going to see why here in a moment. Come through this next door. Now, right before there, you see there's two crystals. There's the one that we just lit, and the green one. And, oh boy, here we go. Uh-oh. Okay, well, we made short work of them. Now, the question is, from here, do we go around the corner and to the right, or do we go to the left? And if you see what I mean here, got a passage left, and up there's the door, and then there's a passage right. So we're going to go this way. Oh, that's the way we came. Got a little turn around there. Alright, here we go. Copper pieces. Money's always good. Yep. Oh, hello. Oh, good job. Oh. Sneaky little bastard. Okay, so here you're going to find a number of false doors. This is one of them. You might find slaves tied up in these, so you kind of take a look around. There's our shrines. Of course, if you're not familiar with this game, this particular shrine is your rest shrine where you can heal and recover. This is your resurrection shrine that you have to fall back to if you die. Of course, when you die, you have a crystal that drops, and one of your hirelings or other players can take it to here, and your ghost goes with them. And so long as that crystal is with them, you'll continue to move with them. Aha, there it is. There's the other lever. Okay, so now we've rescued a total of 3 slaves. I could go ahead and rest up right now, but I'm actually doing pretty good. I haven't used any of my spells. The sorcerer is used most, and the cleric is still doing pretty good, so we'll just go back. Now, question. What is down here? And what is out there? Let's check this out first. Oh, methinks there's a trap. What do you think? Rogue's taking a look. Oh, more of those. He's going to take a look here. Alright, so there's 3 of them. Pressure plates. Oh, for heaven's sakes, would you please be careful? That's the one thing about hirelings, is that they at times can be rather clumsy. And set off traps that otherwise wouldn't necessarily if a player... Okay, so we're going to have to get through there. We've got to find a lock for that particular door, and the only other place that we can go is through the door that we just unlocked. So, gather everybody together.
The air grows chill in the graveyard. The plants sway gently, even though there is no wind.
Now, this again is another mod, this area here, to the original dungeon. This is actually very similar to what takes place in the first module. You come into an area like this and try to find a way to continue through the dungeon. Okay, we got movement over here. Oh, we got bats. Oh, more bats. Oh, we've got ghouls or something. Oh, we got a white. More of them. Oh. God, they're sneaky. Holy cow. That was more than I remembered. Okay, well, I think we got them all now. So as far as the way of treasure goes, there's not really a lot over here. And we're looking for this particular building right here, and there's our lever.
The sound of a door opening can be heard in the distance.
Okay, so let's head back over this way. Now you might find... Well, I don't see a slave, so we'll head back. Oh, this is my turn. Oh, we got company. Well, for being a ranger... Oh, that was nasty. I haven't really done a lot of missile shooting. Of course, I'm kind of the fighter of the party, so that's understandable. But here we go. We've made it through. And we've come to the first point into the lower catacombs. Okay, we're going to go ahead and pause right here for this video. Stay tuned for the next one.